Thank you, because I believe that we all are concerned with making sure that our parents have rights. I'm concerned just a little bit about the requirement to not withhold or to encourage the student to not tell their parents. What were you thinking? What does that look like?
I'm concerned with that also. And to be perfectly honest with you, Rep. Swearingen and I just got the sub-bill, so we need to go over that a little bit more carefully. But I think what we want to do is, if the teacher perhaps knows that this is a dangerous situation for the child, they need to get involved with social services or with police. I certainly don't want any child in harm's way, and I don't think any of us want that.
Follow-up?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And of course, the sexual content piece, I do see that they'd still be able to continue to address certain requirements that are already there, such as child abuse, sexual abuse, and things of that nature, that it's still taught age appropriate. So for the alternative teaching or somewhere that they can take it other than in class, are we requiring that the parent be able to read that information also, or do we just send them to the alternative?
Chairman Brenner and Ranking Member Ingram, the language of the bill leaves some discretion to the school and the parent. It doesn't specifically outline what that class would or would not entail. We would hope that, with the locals, that they'd be able to figure that out themselves. We're not looking to micromanage that additional course. And there is also a grievance process in the bill that if the parent has an issue, they can write a formal grievance to the school first, and if it's not resolved within 30 days, then they can get their school board involved. So given that context of having a grievance process, along with the fact that parents and teachers and principals and superintendents can hopefully work together to educate the child in a reasonable manner, we think that local folks at these schools are capable of doing that as a team, and would hope that they could collaborate.
Follow-up?
Thank you. Okay, and that's good, but I want to make sure that the parents have the same right that you just gave them with the school district to whoever that other provider is, as far as the curriculum and whatever they're going to be teaching. And the school, of course, may or may not have, because it doesn't say the school gets to choose. It says that they get to take another alternative class. Mm-hmm. So that may be chosen by somebody the parent knows or someone else. So I think you need to take a look at that, because otherwise, if I were the parent, it's almost like allowing information that would be beyond age appropriate, just in the opposite direction. While we're trying to save them on one side, what if that other alternative training goes much further? Because we've already banned books that show, that here's a boy and here's a girl and what's the difference, and et cetera, et cetera. So have you thought, I just want to make sure that it's clear that we're not penalizing some school districts. I don't know how that's going to be done yet, but then looking at that alternative that might be in the opposite direction.
And Chairman Brenner, Ranking Member Ingram, we absolutely want to make sure that whatever curriculum is provided as the alternative is also age appropriate, educational, and points the child on the right direction. So, if we need to clarify that process, mm-hmm. and throughout the committee process here in the Senate, we're happy to be a part of that conversation.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Senator Sykes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a follow-up in lines with that. You put a definition forward for age appropriate and developmentally appropriate, but you use still some general terminology like generally accepted and suitable for children, and that's still real subjective. Do you have any intentions of maybe offering some more direction, some more to define that a little better so it's clear? Yeah. Because just saying that everyone, that's like looking at the title of your bill, everyone agrees that parents ought to have some input and age appropriate. Everybody agrees with that, but what does that mean and how it's going to be interpreted or enforced?
As Chairman Brenner and Senator Sykes, I think we, want to make sure that there is an objective standard that's met and that standard is sufficient. And if we need to add some language in, like reasonable or other objective terminology that's typically used in the revised code, we'd be happy to do that. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, I can go ahead and say that the amendment that we're going to be doing is going to be addressing that particular issue of age appropriate and developmentally appropriate, which we'll be doing here in a second. I do want to get to, you've got in the bill, underneath the bill description, it says if a school district does not resolve a parent's written concern within 30 days, a parent may request a hearing before a Board of Education. The school district, the board must hold a hearing at the request of the received parent and make a determination regarding the parent's concern. The bill states that this section does not prescribe the rights of parents or preempt the foreclosed claims of remedies to support parental rights are available under the Constitution, Revised Code, or common law. Other than going to the board, does this do anything to penalize the school district if they don't follow the law?
Chairman Brenner, the answer to that question is I think the remedy at that point would be a political remedy because the school board is the last arbiter on this issue. So if the school, like you pointed out, doesn't resolve the parent's complaint within 30 days, then it goes to the school board for them to resolve, and those are all elected members of their local school jurisdiction. So if they don't resolve it in a way that's acceptable to parents, then they're up for election and can be held accountable for an unfortunate result. So that's how the bill anticipates more of a political remedy than anything.
And this bill does not ban any books. It just says that they have to be age appropriate. So a book which may be inappropriate for somebody in the first grade, maybe some middle school or high school, they would still potentially, those students would have access to it.
Through the chair, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel that, you can do that even with stuffed dolls and things like that on little children, and there is no book banning in this whatsoever, no.
All right. Seeing no other questions, thank you, the sponsor, for your testimony. I now, wait a minute, ranking member, did you?
No, I'm good.
All right, I now go to the Vice Chair O'Brien for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt substitute Bill 0545-2 to House Bill 8.
The motion is in order. Would you care to offer an explanation for the substitute bill?
The substitute bill makes a few small changes, chief among them being to include a definition for the terms age appropriate and developmentally appropriate as they appear in the bill. The definition included in the substitute bill is modeled off of existing federal law and is defined as, quote, activities or items that are generally accepted as suitable for children of the same chronological age or level of maturity, or that are determined to be developmentally appropriate for a child based on the development of cognitive, emotional, physical, and behavioral capacities that are typical for an age or age group, end quote. Including this definition is intended to further clarify the language and ease implementations for schools and districts. Additionally, the new language exempts state-required health, vision, and hearing screenings from the bill, clarifies that its provisions apply to services offered by or facilitated by a school, and makes a number of conforming changes to ensure uniform terms are used throughout the legislation.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair, for the explanation. With that, are any objections to adopting the substitute bill? Go ahead, Ranking Member.